Oh no, hey everybody. Leslie Little Plastic here. Oh, what day is it? September. All right, I'm on a hill over here. I'm trying to figure out how to. And it's raining. It's raining and there's a hill. So I'm trying to figure out how to get this thing. There we go. That's better. Yeah, it's raining. I got my umbrella over here. I might have to start using it. I'm under a nice tree cover over here, but lightning is coming, and thinking maybe I need to go under the school. Probably not such a good idea to be under a tree. All right, see if I can get it done. Sounds like that's a plane. So, Leslie Little Plastic here. I'm Zazoo Plazz. Report for Sunday, September 4th, 2022. Trying to get myself settled here. Miraculously, I'm not getting wet yet. I'm thinking, when's that going to happen? I was over there, it was much too dark. So it happens now, it's like 6 o'clock and it's getting dark. I'm writing out my report. I'm like, what's going on? It just sneaks up on you. So, there's the people in the minivan who always come by at this hour. I don't know what they're doing. They're just sitting in their gray minivan, driving around. Maybe they have a teenager. I don't know. They come, they look at me, and they take off. So anyway, Labor Day. I'm going to do a short report today on Labor Day. What it means. Wow. So tomorrow will be 22 years since I became a mom for the first time. I had my first son it was actually September 5th, 2000. He's going to be 22. And Mr. just, flying off for the weekend, going to a football game. He went to Michigan this week. He wants to travel as much as he can, and I can't blame him, because at 22 that's what you should be doing. And also when I was 22 I got my first piece of real estate. So he's renting a place, he's got a roommate and a place he's moving in. So of course this birthday is all about, I want this for my new place, I want that. He's like moving in a week or so, and he's so excited. And he needs stuff like pots and pans, and it just brought me back to my own first place that I had after college. And how exciting that is to be off on your own, and the meeting of these different phases of life, and what people around you are going through. It's very interesting to me. So that's why I picked the song today. I was getting ready to come out here, and all of a sudden this song, Five for Fighting is the name of the band. In 2000 they came out with this song called 100 Years. And I have to warn you, and maybe it's because I was, hormonal at the time, but it really gets you, gets the feels come out. So just to warn you. But I looked at the lyrics, and it's funny. It says, it goes through all the different stages of life. Like you're 15 for a moment, you're 22 for a moment. And I said, that's it. That's why I thought of the song, because he's 22 for a moment. And really, isn't that funny? My other one, my younger one, they got a picture of him skateboarding up at UConn. For some reason, he was on campus for one day, and then he manages to get on the UConn Instagram, do skateboarding. Like, there's my kid working hard. Jumping like, traffic cones and stuff. Like, what different kids. So, yeah, there's the thunder. It's encroaching upon me. Hope I'll be safe out here and protection. Wow, my dog's probably shivering at home. But we went out last night. We went to see well, first of all, I wanted to wear my new Mexican top that I got in Tucson. It's one of those, scoop things with the detail like I used to wear when I was a kid. It was gorgeous, the kind you can put off the shoulder. So my husband took me to Chili's, which in Connecticut is the closest you can get to, real, I guess, real Mexican food. But, I had a margarita, so it didn't matter after that. I had a very nice Santa Fe chicken salad, and and we got free chips and salsa, which was, that's my weakness. I could go through a whole thing of chips and salsa like that. And they're so salty. It's like, you just take the whole thing of salt. It's the same thing as eating chips. I usually get the ones that are lower sodium, but anyway, I digress. 5 for fighting. Oh, yeah. So then, after dinner, we went to see that new Top Gun Maverick movie because it was cinema day and we had $3 tickets. It's like, oh my God, you go in the theater, it's like surround everything. Like you feel like you're in the cockpit of the F-18. You're like, dun 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 dun. I highly recommend it. It's awesome. Even if it's just for that scene where they're all playing football on the beach. Go see it. No, it was so true to the original. I have to say, Tom Cruise is a genius, and the other, producers and the actors, the kid who plays Goose's son, Rooster, I couldn't believe the resemblance and the vibe. I had all the same, I had the excitement, I had the chills, I had the, plus, then, you see some of the actors from the first movie and they flash back. My husband hadn't seen the first Top Gun, which I can't believe. And I've seen it like 30 times, but for different reasons. So I knew it, I was able to help him out in the parts that he didn't get. The background, about Meg Ryan being Anthony Edwards' wife in the movie, and Goose and what happened to Goose and all that stuff. So, but if you haven't seen the first Top Gun, which I wonder if you're listening to this, I don't think that's the case if you like Zazoo Plazz. But in case, someone hasn't seen it, like kids, they do provide flashbacks, which is very useful. I don't want to give away the movie. It is in the same vein as the first, but it ties up a lot of the loose ends. Let's just say that. It's very healing, and it feels good, So anyway, so I'm going to kind of get back around to that. Wisdom of the heart. Yeah. So I'm gonna wrap back around to Maverick at the end. But I just wanted to share a picture today before I have to go. Okay. So it being Labor Day, I thought, oh my gosh, and this popped out at me. This was after we built our house and we moved in. It was the spring of '97, and there I am. My husband's gonna laugh when he sees this. There I am in my little painter's outfit, and I'm painting our living room, and we put these little stick figures of ourselves, and I was this curly-haired kind of superhero lady. Even back then, when I hadn't even written Zazoo, didn't even conceive of the idea. There's my husband down here looking at me. I'm sort of glowing. So I said, whoever buys the house someday will not know that Zazoo Plazz was painted on that wall. It was pristine white, and then we painted it this like extreme yellow, which is funny because that was '97. That was in style. We had the gauche plaid couch there. We had checked green and white gingham curtains. The country look was in. So everything was like country chic. And there I am. I got down there and I painted those walls. I put that wallpaper up myself with him, my husband. We both did it. We had a plan, and we took one room at a time, and we got it done. When the kids came along, 3 years later, 2000. So, we wanted to have the house, the nest, ready. So that's what you do, that's labor. And it's funny how labor finds takes different forms, and it's all good, the work of our hands, plus the work of our hands, Lord, right? The reading goes, it's whether you're creating a child, a home, if it's done in the right spirit, right? All creation, it's all worthwhile. Creating a movie, even when those might say to you, oh, sequels are never as good as the original. Okay? We'll see about that. And I think this movie, Maverick, proves them wrong. There have been quite a few, I think, movies that are at least as good as the original, if not better, and then most often they're worse, but, not books. Like, books are a whole different thing, and movies based on books are a whole other thing, Each book is its own thing. But that's for another day. But we're in Virgo season, so what's, Virgo? I used to joke to my husband when they said the baby was going to be born, my son was going to be born, first on Labor Day weekend. I said, going into labor on Labor Day, wouldn't that be funny? And that's what happened. The Jerry Lewis telethon was on, and I went in, and they're like, no, not yet. They're like, yeah, they sent me home. I'm like, no, but you gotta understand, I have to have a baby on Labor Day so I can joke about it for the rest of his life. The way my mother told her labor story with me my whole life, about how she had, she was such a little thing and I was such a big baby, and she had to have sandbags on her stomach after, and she didn't eat for 2 weeks, but she didn't miss a meal the day that she had me. But then after that, she was, down to 90 pounds, and, da-da-da-da. So I had this kid. It was 20 hours of labor, and they sent me home. They wouldn't let me watch the telethon. They were like, no, get out of here. And then after all the breathing and the sitting on the ball and bouncing and being in the tub, they're like, oh yeah, here, you can just, have an epidural. Let's do a C-section. Okay. You know what? I could have done without that previous 19 hours. Wait, if you just had told me that at the beginning? But anyway, then we wouldn't have stories, right? So, I'm not going to be one of those mothers who, tells, well, actually I am telling a story. But, it was a beautiful day. He was born, it was a beautiful day. The whole experience it was like a vacation. I got to get out of the house, meet some people, and I came home with a baby. So my mother-in-law showed up and in a couple of, I think the next day, shows up with balloons and starts singing, taste and see how good, the goodness of the Lord. Sitting there. I haven't slept for 30 hours. Bandaged up and black eyes, and she comes in all primped and propped and with bows in her hair and starts singing communion songs. So anyway, taste and see. Yeah. So, then there's this other thing. Virgo. The whole thing of Virgo season, and this is what my son is like, because he's a Virgo. Work, making things better. He's constantly saying things to me like, it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon, Mom, and you're having tea and you're in your workout clothes. And I say, yeah? He's like, Well, can you do that better? Is there a better thing you could be doing it to a cock? I said no, because it's my life and I can pretty much do whatever I want. Um, so there we get in a little, but now that he's going to have his own house, he can do what he wants to do, and I can do what I want to do when I want to do it. Um, so there's that, and but you know what? I kind of rubbed off on him because now he's drinking tea and he's working out and he's just realizing that you know adhering to a strict time limit is can be detrimental to your health. And this whole thing that the kids are into now, we started it. We Pluto and Virgo people, we started it. We started pushing back ever so quietly, quitting ever since 1987, just ever so quiet, ever so gently, but trying to see if my motto is just every day I try to improve something. It doesn't really matter what it is, but going in the general direction of self-improvement is always a good thing for me. Wisdom of the heart, right? And then the whole thing. Well, I've just got a couple more things to retort about. Um, yeah, the gospel about sitting down and making a plan and leaving your family, leaving your to follow me, to follow Jesus. You gotta. It's a, it, it's about letting go. It's people to follow, basically to follow Jesus in order to become better, to improve ourselves, to move up to a higher quality of life, a higher spiritual plane. You have to figure out what it is that you're holding on to too tightly. To what are you holding too TOO tightly? And I hope this isn't a spoiler, but it's like Iceman types. And there's one scene in Maverick that I loved, where basically he's, Tom Cruise goes to see him, and his advice is, in dealing with his situation with Goose's son and so forth, he basically says, it's time to let go. And that whole scene is amazing. But and then after that, Maverick kind of gets it, because he has, his house is like his thing at work. His locker's got pictures of Goose and him and Goose and the guy who died in the first Top Gun. And it really makes you think, oh my God, it's all tied in together, doesn't it? Isn't it? Leaving your family behind, leaving your home behind. And it's a matter of having a focus on where you want to go. And sometimes it doesn't mean you leave your children on the street. It means that you go forward unencumbered by things that weigh us down, things we don't need anymore, emotions we don't need anymore, like regret, guilt, that's misplaced, right? Thinking something's your fault for 30 years, thinking when in order to go forward and heal, you have to let that stuff go, because it's knocking you in the face every day, It literally, it's hitting your head against a brick wall, and it's wondering why you never get anywhere. If you want to go Mach 10, you have to let something go. You have to let the baggage, leave the checked bags behind. Just take a carry-on, right? So a lot of people are traveling. So what do you have to let go of? I always struggled with that. But They said that when Tom Cruise was getting ready for the movie, of course, he made a plan. He trained all the actors in this boot camp to get in fighting shape, you know? And I'm like, yeah, that's perfect. Because, when you're going into battle of any kind, you're going into a business meeting, you're building a business, a house, whatever, you you make a plan, you know? You don't just march in there, right? But then once you're there, you can be free enough to go into plan B if you need it. All right? Okay, well, we have to do this now. We have to switch, but you need to be light enough to do that. And if you're too attached to your past and what was, you're not seizing the opportunities that lie in front of you. And I speak about myself here. This is a process I've been going through. And it's painful. I mean, look at my hair.